Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a great start of the week, and I hope everyone had a great weekend. Nice little rested time, get away from the markets, but I'm excited to be back, and I hope you guys are as well. We have some good things to look at today. As far as everything goes, it's been semi-quiet, not too much activity. A little bit down on the Dow, a little bit flat on the S&P, and gold and oil have. Oil hasn't moved much. Gold has moved a bit. We're going to look at that on the downside, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But just quickly to look at what we have coming up for this week, we see that as far as today goes, we have some Eurogroup meetings and so on, and that's kind of playing out. Tomorrow, going into Tuesday, we have some CPI reports out of Switzerland and the UK, and then we've got a bit more of some central bank stuff in the works there. Draghi speaking Tuesday morning. Expect some craziness out of the euro on that. Coming into Wednesday, we have some more central bank stuff out of the UK, retail sales out of the US, lots of central bank activity out of Japan. Thursday, kind of a regular day as far as everything goes on Thursday, and then Friday we've got a couple of good reports there as well. So overall, there is some activity coming up this week. We're going to see how it all goes. A couple of things to look at here. Euro dollar so far, we talked about this, and this was during our UK session. Things were kind of right in this general area. Talked about getting in just above 133.90 with kind of two options of stops. One just below 133.90 in case it dipped down and didn't feel like kind of sitting it out. And then the longer term one, which was the stop at 133.50. And you can see that trading against that level worked out very nicely. It's run up and down and made some nice runs against 133.50. I am still interested in trading against 133.50. I think we have a good opportunity on this one. And so I'm going to be, watching, especially, just literally in the last minute or two, we've seen some downward movement on this euro dollar. So I think if we get a little bit closer to this 133.50, I'm going to look at buying against that, and we'll see if support holds there. We had some nice reversal candles. We had our Friday low. If this 133.50 breaks, though, I think we're going to be in for a decently significant move down into at least 132.50, 60. So we could easily see a 100 pip run down if we do break 133.50. But at this point, I'm looking and thinking that we might just be able to hold on to that 133.50. So far, we're kind of at the lower part of the channel. Everything should be able to kind of continue up from there. So again, 133.50 is kind of the level to trade against. Tight stops below that, and let's buy against that level. Let's wait till it gets a little bit further down there, though. See if we can get another 30 pips of retracement. Maybe get some entries around 133.60, 70, somewhere in there, and trade against that 133.50. Targets will be missed daily pivot from from Friday, which is 134.50, and then we've got the 200-day moving average that's just kind of sitting there about 134.65, 70, right in that general area. So we're not looking for major targets. We're just looking for some kind of short-term activity to jump into and get in on that. So that's what we're looking for there. Here was my trend line from Thursday, from the daily wrap up and so on. You can see that this pound dollar has bounced very nicely with a nice little weekly pin bar and everything off of that trend line. But the downtrend is very, very strong on this pound dollar, which is what we are trying to do with everything. Stick with the trend, stay with the trend. So we've stayed nicely under the 200-day moving average. We've stayed nicely under this resistance here, which is about almost 159.00. Ran up to all of that very nicely and has broken this trend line and come down right into these areas. So the level to watch right now is going to be 156.30. Just when we get there, let's look for some bounces, see if we get a little short-term bounce off that once more. But we're ultimately, probably very likely in the next day or two or three going to break that 130 or 156.30. So be watching for that move and that break and so on. So just kind of be ready for that. But again, there's nothing too terribly urgent to get into right this moment. I'm just going to be watching 156.30. Looking for a bounce, a break, that kind of stuff. Aussie dollar has kind of been holding in here pretty nicely. It's been moving around and been up and down and all over the place. I would love to see the Aussie dollar break this little trend line. We're starting to get, a little bit of a higher low than this one right here. So we have a little bit better than double bottom, and and everything's kind of hanging in there. So I'd like to see if we can get a break of this guy, this trend line, and just get a bit of a test of the 200-day moving average, and I'm going to be looking at selling the Aussie dollar. If we can get there, I'm going to be selling the Aussie dollar around 103.50 and even as high as 104.00. But 103.50 to kind of 103.80 is that hot spot to look to kind of sell this Aussie dollar. Otherwise, it's a lot of chop, and I don't know that we have something that's super great to get into until we get a little bit more retracement. You can see though we're breaking out of this nicely, and we're well on our way to. Remember, my target is at least 9,800 and possibly 9,700, but I want to get just a little bit more retracement. So let's get this. Let's get this Aussie dollar up there, at least another 50 or 60 pips. Let's get some retracement at the beginning of the week and short this against, 103.80 and even 104.00 once we can get up there a little bit higher. So, obviously the closer we can get to 103.80 / 104.00, the better off we're going to be, the smaller stop loss we'll have, but those are going to be the levels to sell against. And then Euro Yen tried to make some breaks and did a couple of things here and ended up kind of being pretty solid on this little support. So as that kind of went, that support held in there. But I'm still thinking that this Euro Yen is going to be a nice opportunity to sell. And so I'm looking at a couple of things. You can see, here the Euro Yen just moves so much all the time. This little tiny, last hour or so, it's down 50-ish pips. So I'm going to be looking at kind of trading against these levels. Here's our Friday high. You guys know how I feel about Friday highs and Friday lows. They're super important levels. So there's our Friday high, which is about 125.55. And I think that's a good level to trade against. So I'm going to be looking at that level to kind of trade against right now. And especially if we break above that, then I'll be, addressing these highs and maybe buying into that rally. But so far, trading against 125.50, 55 to the downside, I think is going to be a nice move. The rest of the yen pairs are looking pretty choppy, and we have, remember, we have some central bank news coming out of Japan, so we'll just kind of wait on those and see where it all goes. But I think our good opportunities are going to be euro dollar, pound dollars. We approach 156.30. Aussie dollar looking to just get up a little closer once again to 103.50, 80, and then euro yen trading against this 125.50, 60 area. So that's kind of what I'm looking for the moment. I'll update the notes and so on as they come out. Keep an eye on Twitter. The website's got a little bit of maintenance going on, so keep an eye on your inbox and on Twitter for all the updates while the website gets kind of fixed up and back in shape. So thanks a bunch, everyone, and we'll see you in the chat.